What's up, guys? I'm here with Kyle and Christian from the Steel City Music Showcase. I'm your host, Derek. I'm here with my co-host, Dead Hand. We're about to dive into some wonderful conversation. How you guys doing today?
Doing good. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you for having me. And Kyle.
Yeah.
What'd y'all do today?
I worked. Pretty boring, but it's a good job. I take care of people with developmental disabilities, so it's a privilege to be doing that. So it's very fun.
I also worked. I sell solar, and I do music full time, so that's fun.
Yeah.
Come on, man. Get more down to earth. Tell us about you working with people with disabilities.
Oh, man. I mean, if you ever want to feel like get a lot of love, go to those guys. That's all they want to do is give a lot of love. That's basically hanging out with their best friends all day. It's an honor. I'm very blessed to have them in my life. And if I had somebody in my family that was unfortunate as well, I'd want somebody to be taken care of just the way I take care of them. So it's a blessing for sure.
Wow. That's a good man.
Thanks.
Yeah. How'd you get into that line of work?
So Adrian, guy I play in Phat Quarter with, it's their family business. So they run it. He kind of got me in there and told me, hey, man, we need some more help. And I didn't think I could do it. And 7 years later, I'm doing it still, so I'm very blessed.
Doesn't that give you hope about the world?
It does. It does. Tell us about solar.
So I kind of view my services like Kyle does. The reason being is just utility rates are extraordinarily high here, like borderline unaffordable. And there's plenty of people who can't afford their monthly bill. And it's like you're more likely to stop paying on your car before you do your electric bill, you know? So if I can go and I can qualify people to where they're not only saving money monthly, but they don't have to see the increased yearly expenses just from renting their power from the utility company, I try to take care of them the same way like how he said. I don't want to do business if it doesn't benefit them, and I don't want to treat them any different than I would my family, because everyone in my family that is homeowners have this on their roof, including David back there.
Nice.
And Johnny.
You go knock on people's doors?
Yeah, I've been door to door for the last, not so much these days, it's a lot more like networking and referrals because I've done it for so long. I've been doing it now for 5 years, which that's a little crazy to think. But yeah, I've been doing that half a decade, so it's pretty cool.
Generally, are most people welcoming, or are they pretty standoffish when you hit them with the knock?
I honestly think it depends. It's case by case. You'll run into people who are completely unreceptive to whatever type of energy you're trying to give them. But then you'll run into people where, I've had a dude that told me flat out no, but by the end of the conversation where he was like, I really want to hear what you have to say. And it's not because of the product. Like, the product will sell itself. It's just I'm selling me. So you just got to match people's energy, man. You can't meet resistance with resistance. You got to hit them with a different vibe.
Yes, sir.
So how long have y'all been doing music?
I started drumming when I was a sophomore in high school.
Okay.
I was kind of in and out of it with sports and everything. And then just recently with Adrian and our other buddy, Tony, we've been together for like 7 years now.
Okay.
Since you started your job.
Yeah, pretty much. Exactly. Yeah. So
Maybe they've helped each other.
Yeah, honestly, I wouldn't be able to do what I was doing now if I didn't work for who I worked for, because the schedule fits perfect. So, but yeah, so just about that time.
That's dope. I've been playing, well, I guess since we're talking like in general, I've been playing guitar since I was 11. So I'm 26 now, so 15 years, going on 16 years. I started singing when I was a sophomore in high school, so around 16 years old. So, but I started performing when I was, I want to say 16. My music teacher, I was going to quit music my freshman year of high school because I wanted to pursue more sports. I wanted to play football. So
I can see that on your body.
Yeah? Dude, I don't know what you're talking about, bro. I just like food. I like lift heavy stuff. That's about it. I got like that physique where you can tell that maybe I go to the gym here and there, but I also like to eat. So
yeah,
that's okay.
That's a good balance, though. Yeah. You have to have fuel.
This is peak male performance right here.
Heck yeah.
Yes.
Was eating ever a problem?
Oh, yes, for sure.
When?
In many ways.
What point in your life?
Honestly, if we're talking about like just in general, whole life for sure. I think that was something like I've done like a body transformation like 3 different times in my life. I think it was just like former fat kid, like you use it like a coping mechanism. I think like as a child when you experience things, you find your coping mechanism and then you typically like run with that. And until you realize it's an issue, like it just continues to be a part of your life.
What about for you, Billy? Any past with that?
I mean, yeah, I can relate to Christian a little bit. I had just recently went through a whole rediscovery phase in my life.
sick, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm super proud of him. We had a
Thanks,
conversation
man.
back
Huge.
in August.
And this conversation saved me, man. Like I thought about it like for weeks after, man. And like we're at Fuel and Iron, and we had a whole deep conversation just about life and just everything, you know. And it was, I don't know, it changed me completely for sure.
It was actually like it was right before we went on for the Joe Emile Productions first show that we did back then.
Yep.
We were just sitting at the bar talking about everything, because I think I was going through a little bit of a life transition at that time. I was getting into a new relationship at that time after being single for an extended period of time, and then you were working your way out of marriage.
Yeah, I just got divorced, and we kind of just hit it off right after that. So.
Well, and it's so cool. I think that's like the beautiful thing about being a musician. Like I think you can relate to this too. Like anyone who plays a musician or is involved in the arts, you feel things on a different level because you're tapped into the place of creation. Like you're making these instruments sing. You know what I mean? Like,
exactly, yeah.
So it's cool. You feel things differently. Sometimes the hurts hurt a lot more, but the highs are a lot higher too.
Right, absolutely. And I think it's the beauty of it. Like I found those highs, and I was like, holy smokes, like this is something that I want to feel for a long time, you know. And I don't know, I'm very fortunate for that conversation, Christian. So
likewise, bro. I reflect on it a lot too,
Yeah.
man. Well, and even just like, because I know like we don't get to talk very often, but it's cool because it's like we don't miss a day.
No,
Like,
not at all. You pick up like right where we left off. You know?
Yeah,
So.
I think those are the best friendships though too.
Yeah.
Like they just flow. Like you go in your different directions, whatever, but you don't forget those interactions. Those are what I call core memories.
Yeah,
Yes,
I
sir.
love that. What do you think was the hardest part about changing your lives in these like kind of different ways, but on that similar path? What's the hardest thing you think you had to overcome? Because that's a big thing that you did, both of y'all.
Yeah, it really is.
You guys were
I don't
big
know.
guys.
I think personally, I think it's the fact like you have to learn to forgive yourself for staying stagnant for so long.
Yeah, that's huge.
I think a lot of people really beat themselves up. They're like, I need to do this or I should do this.
Yeah.
But like subconsciously, I think when you say like, I need to do this or I should do this, you're just saying, you're admitting I'm not going to do this.
Yeah.
So like learning to forgive yourself for staying stagnant, number one, and number two, just taking that first step. The first step is absolutely the hardest.
Yeah,
But after you start, you compound wins. Like just like stacking yeses in sales is important to like close a deal with a client and making sure they understand things. Same thing happens when you're making small, smart, cognitive decisions. I have this tattoo on the top of my back, and it's called Kaizen. So Kaizen is the belief or practice of small, subtle improvements continuously. They compound with time. You don't have to flip who you are overnight, because then you'd go right back to who you were the night after that.
right.
Yeah, that's such an important thing.
For
Like that
sure.
small, steady progress.
Yeah, you really like when you dig deep, you can really find something you didn't know you had in yourself. And I really found that out in the past year. I picked up on running, and that was something that I found out that was mentally like helping me so much. And I stick with it to this day, and it's changed me so much. And you find a lot about yourself when you go through some tough times and just being alone. And I'm grateful about it. I'm happy about it now, and I tell people it, and I hope it to inspire people too. So, and
What advice do you guys have to younger musicians that might even be kind of bigger, kind of heavier? Like what words change your life? Because it seems like this conversation changed your life.
oh yeah, I mean, as far as musicians, like
people in
just
general.
just play to what you feel like you want to play. Like that's why we changed our name to Just a Feeling. Like do whatever you feel like doing, play whatever you want. Like don't give a shit about what people think about it. And I was huge on like caring about what people thought about me. Now I don't give a fuck. Ever since I went through my whole phase, you really got to not give a fuck about anything.
It's true. Well, and I think a lot of people put more importance on what other people think of them more than what they think of themselves.
Right, yep.
And I don't think people realize the same chalice that you pull love from to give to people, like when you pour life and pour love into people, because that's what an interaction is. It doesn't matter what type of relationship you have. It could be a friendship, it could be business, it could be romantic, anything like that. You have to make sure that they're pouring energy and life back into you. If you can do that for yourself, you will never be dependent on anyone else to do that. So my advice to people who are getting started in music or who are maybe just looking for a change is be mindful of the things that you tell yourself. If you talk to your friends the way that you talk to yourself, would they still be your friends? And if not, you really need to change that. NF actually said this in one of his songs, but he said, "The point I'm making is the mind is a powerful place in which you feed it can affect you in a powerful way." And it's true. Like the things that you tell yourself, your thoughts become reality. So you have to be mindful and conscious of those. If you see a weed growing in your garden, you rip that bitch out. You know, that's the seed of doubt. Just you rip that thing out before it can take root, because then it's taking nutrients away from your plants.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I mean that's very powerful stuff. You know, it takes a lot of power to change your life like that, even in
sure.
small ways every day. But on a more positive note about making these changes in your life, when you guys are looking for a cheat meal in Pueblo, what do you guys go into?
That's tough.
Yeah, there's I think people who conventionally go out to like the chain restaurants and stuff, they're like, oh, I have this, I have that. There's so many good mom and pop restaurants in Pueblo.
Yeah, yep.
Like, I think you'd have to narrow it down to a category. If you're like, well, if you were feeling like Mexican food, what would it be? Or if you're feeling Italian food or this. Personally, I think my cheat meal in Pueblo, so I'll go to Angelo's, and not even for the pizza. Even though their pizza is fire, I'll get their Brooklyn pepperoni rolls. And I don't dunk them in the marinara sauce. I get a bowl of their tomato basil soup.
Ooh.
Oh, dude.
That sounds
I'm a
so
foodie
good.
through and through. I didn't get this thick from eating bland foods.
So good.
Yeah.
Shit, I love sloppers. That's my go-to. So I go to Sunset, Coors too, and then I'm a huge burger guy. So I'm always going Bingo Burger, Brews, or anywhere has a good burger. So.
Dude, Mosh's Burgers at
Mosh's
Fuel and
Burgers?
Iron. I respect
in
Chris.
peace.
I respect Chris for doing what he has to do for him. I'll tell him all the time, but I'm like, hey, if you pop out at an event, I will go support you. Just throw a post out
And
there.
their fries, so good.
The Mosh sauce reminds me of like a way better Big Mac sauce. It is so fire.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I'm like, dude, I'll swim in that naked, dude. That shit is fire.
So you said you're a runner.
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
You lift?
Yeah, so I've
Yeah.
actually competed in bodybuilding. That was actually maybe one of like the more pivotal core moments in my life that completely altered the way that I view reality.
I love it. I love it. But I have a more important question.
What is that in question?
Top 3 workout songs.
That's tough.
All right, let's see. Let's go through the workout.
Pulls out the
Bring out the phone.
Yeah.
He's
So
in trouble.
It's important, right? That's like, it literally sets
Oh,
the tone.
absolutely.
I think it depends like what your cup of tea is, right? So like for me personally, I love to lift to like hip hop. I love to lift to metal, especially being a guitar player first. Like,
Yes, sir.
dude, you know, if you're a drummer, you're a guitar player, or you play some type of rhythm instrument in a band, you have some influence to like classic rock or
Yeah.
rock. So if I were to give my top 3,
Are you pulling up Spotify right now?
Apple Music.
Oh, okay.
I'm
Okay.
getting judged. I know.
I just
know.
made the transition to Spotify, and I fucking love it.
Dude,
So-
I ran with Spotify when I was in college, but the reason why I like Apple Music, other than the fact that I'm super lazy and I don't want to take the time building those playlists again, because I have like, I know bullshit, I think I have like 5,000 or 6,000 saved songs.
Yeah.
Jesus.
So there's a lot of time invested.
Yeah.
This is very emotional. But also, they have a karaoke setting
They do.
on Apple
love
Music.
that.
So sometimes if I'm learning a new song, like for a client, or if I have to sing for a wedding or whatever I have to do, I'll put that on so I can run through it.
Okay, I'm
That's
sorry
smart.
I judged you. Yeah.
I take that back.
I appreciate that apology. That's
Yeah.
that's dope. So as far as like top 3 workout songs, I would have to say recently it's been Custer by Slipknot.
Yes.
Fire. Oh my
Yes.
gosh. Yeah, it's dope. So Custer. The other one that I've been rocking, I love me some J. Cole. So I'll throw
you
like
go.
GOMD.
Nice. Yep.
Like, mostly just because I'll rap that whole entire thing. Like that's
While you're lifting.
maybe in my head,
Yeah.
under my breath. And then if I had to give like one more, it's so weird because my mood changes all the time. I've also been on an Usher kick, like crazy.
Oh, okay.
It's a
So-
Super Bowl.
Super Bowl, yeah.
Well, and that's the thing. I added like 3 new Usher songs to my set list. Me and David were actually recording one the other day, and I didn't even think we were gonna record it, but it ended up being a little banger, so it was cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that what it's called? That's the song you did? Yeah.
actually, did we do that one? We did do that one. So I think we did that one, and then we did "You Got It Bad." Both of those were.
Ooh,
Nice.
yes, that'll be
Hell
But there's
yeah.
this version that I seen on TikTok of "You Remind Me." So I'm a loop artist. So what I do is I create tracks on the spot live with my guitar and my beatbox and stuff like
Super
that.
impressive, by the way.
cool.
Thank you, dude. No, if you guys haven't seen him and Ado perform, you're
No,
in
no.
for a
Well, we're
show.
going to at the showcase,
Oh,
right?
it is. They're so sick. Their
Yeah.
blend is amazing. So I seen this TikTok version of "You Remind Me" by Usher, and this guy's also a loop artist out in Nashville, which is like where I'm gonna be moving. And he was so sick. I'm like, dude, that's badass. I am totally stealing that.
That's so cool. I love
Oh yeah,
it.
it was cool.
All right, no pressure. What's your top 3?
Oh man, I'm all over the place.
Aren't we all?
Yeah, I know, right? I recently got into a band called Knock Loose, and the song called Counting Worms. It's like a minute and like 10-second
Nice.
song, but like it's so driven and like rock heavy.
It's like that Top Set song. That's all you need is like
Yeah,
that
like
minute.
dude, like people think I'm crazy when I'm running
that all-out
downtown 'cause I'm like
sprint.
fisting the air and like freaking pumped about it, dude. Air drumming. But and then J. Cole, that's another one, man.
Fire.
Oh,
Man
dude.
of culture. I love it.
Yeah, dude.
Let's go.
Seriously, man. Like J. Cole alone, just I can listen to that all the way through. And who else? Under Oath is another metal band. I'm huge on the metal music for sure. So
Under Oath's great.
yeah.
Man of culture. I love
Yes.
that.
Wow.
So
You know, I'm not a huge metalhead.
Yeah, we know,
I would,
Derek.
I would love
We
to
know.
see. I know Knocked Loose. You know, I had I had a dream about them one time.
okay.
Speaking of dreams, we were talking about going out in the nightlife. Going out to. Are you guys single?
Yeah. He's not.
I'm not.
You're not single.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's freshly off the market.
Yes.
Tell me about some of the best nightlife in Pueblo, Colorado that you would recommend to people coming into the city for the festival.
My top pick is going to be a non-conventional answer, but I will say I did have a great weekend out. So my best friend and I occasionally will step out, and the reason why it's an occasional thing is because when we start drinking, it's almost like we're like, okay, I don't think we can stop. Let's just go for another one. And so to give a perspective, I had to play a private party on Saturday, right? And we were stepping out, so I went and had a drink at 4. And by the time that I get there, I'm like, I probably shouldn't have done that. But they're very cool. They're family friends. They're really cool. So I ended up drinking a little bit over there. We had a very, very long night out. So we started at like 11. We started at the Senate, which honestly, the Senate has a very diverse crowd. And I like the changes they made recently. And I'll tell you why. Because for a while, they used to play the same music, you know what I mean? Which is cool. They have really switched it out. They'll be playing some sick-ass house music sometimes. And I'm sitting back there and I'm like, is this the same bar? Like, this is
cool.
It is. I think subtle change like that is big. I really do like Breaker from time to time. I play there as well. You know, I play.
You're jaded.
If I could talk, that'd be great. But yeah, I played at a lot of these venues, and my buddy Samara, DJ Black Diamond, was there on Saturday, and he was tearing it up. My best friend and I were just having a great time. We're the life of the party, so it's fun. But my number one answer to answer your question, I think the best nightlife experience you can get in Pueblo is just being, it doesn't matter where you go per se, you could even be in a garage, but if you're around the right people, like if you have good relationships, I feel like that's anywhere. If you make connections with good people who are like, hey, let's hang out, let's get to know one another, let's party, let's drink, let's do that. If it's in an environment where you feel safe and you can be yourself, I feel like that's the best nightlife. It doesn't have to be a loud space. It can be around 10 people that you really love or you really fuck with, and that's all it is.
I feel like it's always last minute stuff too.
Oh,
Yeah.
Spontaneous?
Yeah,
Give me some.
that's the best.
Let's go.
It was never planned. What about you?
I'd have to say, I mean, that's spot on with Christian what he said. I love like being with close people and like
Kickbacks?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
I'll sit in the backyard all night and hang out with my closest friends and whatnot. But as far as like downtown Pueblo goes, like I like going to the Clink, for a nice old fashioned or something. They got a nice patio area upstairs.
It's definitely a vibe.
Yeah. I like the Shamrock too. They have a nice little outdoor patio when it's nice,
I've
I'm
got some
a huge
memories on
patio
that
guy.
outdoor patio.
Yeah. And then what else? I love the Green Light. I like a lot of the bartenders there I'm really cool with, and it's just like comforting to walk in there like, hey, what's up? Nice to see you again, so.
Their stage setup is so sick too. It's a big
Yeah,
vibe.
yeah. Adam's done a lot there, and Smitty too. Like they've always provided a lot for the music community in Pueblo. So those guys, they owe it to themselves because they've done a lot for this town too. So
For sure. Shout out to Greenlight.
hell yeah.
I think that's the great part of Pueblo too, is like we are a close enough knit community where these places are really tied into the artists and the
Yeah,
musicians, and,
right.
and they can make a big difference.
Right, and I think people really like sleep on the Pueblo music scene. Like there's so much talent here, and it drives me crazy.
They have
that people-
absolutely no clue.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm so excited for the festival because it's gonna expose these artists here in town and wherever else they're all coming from. So I'm really excited to see a lot of these artists.
Well, especially when you compare Pueblo, like when you think like a Riverwalk or like people who don't live here or aren't from here, like you think like San Antonio, right? San Antonio has a sick Riverwalk with stuff on it. And that's kind of like what we have. Obviously, it's a lot smaller in scale. But when you have that, you can think like, oh, live entertainment, there's stuff like that. When I started performing in Pueblo, I mean, I was only doing, this is back when I was 16, I was only doing the break time of when my teacher and his guitar player, they're in a well-renowned band here in Colorado. They're called the Martini Shot.
Yeah, we all know Martini Shot.
Oh yeah, so Andy Clementi is was my music teacher.
That's cool.
And he was actually the one that kept me in music. I was going to quit music going into sophomore year because I was an instrumentalist at the time. And that's when I started singing, because he twisted my arm and said, I need you to come audition for my choir.
Yeah.
And the rest kind of was history from there. But to go back to where I was, I don't want to get off topic. I think now, seeing how it is, it's cool because I talk to the older generation. My uncles played in the Pueblo music scene with plenty of artists around here, for a long time. People didn't even know we're musicians or were that good. And it's cool to see, like, they did it back before it was popular to do that, and they had no platform. They just went word of mouth. And now you're starting to see more venues give opportunity for live music. Because when I was playing, there was like 1 or 2 venues maybe that would do it consistently.
Right.
And a lot of the times it was a free show. You didn't make money off of it. You know what I mean? And I've been in a position where I've been fortunate enough to have like made music my full-time business since June of last year. Like, I perform every weekend.
Good for you. That's huge.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's a cool process, because I've been doing it on my own since I was 19. So yeah, it's a fun time though.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
It's
man.
the journey.
What about the future plans, and where can people keep up with your guys' journey?
Yeah, throw out some Instagram
Yeah,
handles
so
here.
Just a Feeling is our original group with our guy Tony Garcia. We're all over Spotify, every streaming platform. We're currently still recording some more music as we speak. And then me and Ado, Phat Quarter, we got nothing out. We're kind of just did this on the whim. This is like our second show ever. So hopefully we're going to try to record this set and try to pump it out as a live little album or something.
That'd be cool.
So yeah.
They're sick.
We're excited for it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I didn't know that Adrian could sing like that.
I mean, yeah, like when we like started off together, him and I were just doing duo things. So he used to live on a house on Jewel off of Ibriendo there. We used to call it the Trap House because a little
he
shaky.
told us about the
Yeah,
Trap
he told us about
yeah,
the
yeah.
Trap House. He also sang us
there one time.
Creed.
Yeah,
earlier,
yeah.
so.
Oh god.
Let's
yeah.
go there.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Can you take me?
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. But yeah, we've been jamming out for a while, so it's comforting that him and I can do a duo like outside of our other band, So.
Yeah, very cool.
I think a lot of people don't understand how hard that is to do, like to have that chemistry with other musicians to where like the blend is at that level.
Yeah.
David and I actually did a project. I think it was going on 2 years ago. So I opened up for the Nitty Gritty Dirt Band, and they've been around since the 70s. This is a group where most of them are still alive. They're in their 70s now.
Whoa.
But I got to open up for them, which was cool because it was a packed Memorial Hall, and their blend, and I'm talking like 5-6 part harmonies, was absolutely incredible. Me and David were backstage looking at each other like, do you hear that?
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I hear it, and I'm a little baffled right now.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So, as far as finding my music and stuff, that's a process. David and I are working on getting the.
What a good answer.
Well, I admire the people who just took the bull by the horns and like created a platform for themselves, but I was very much like 1 foot in, 1 foot out, because I didn't know if I really wanted to do it for real. It was just kind of something I did on the side, and then it got it to a point where it was lucrative and I loved it enough again to do it full time. So you can follow my TikTok, you can follow my Instagram. It's Christian Jaquez. Last name is spelled Jaquez. I mean, you can follow me there. I post on Facebook, I post on TikTok, and then we started writing some music again. So in the near future, there'll be a little bit of an EP to go.
Oh, yeah.
David's waiting on me on to finish on like the 9 songs that I'm sitting on.
Yeah.
But Writer's Block
that's how it goes. Yep.
Dude, Writer's Block is a motherfucker.
Yep, sure is.
All right. Well, thank you guys both for being here.
Thank you guys. Appreciate you guys.
There's the timer.
Sweet.
Please come check these guys out at the Still City Music Showcase. That's definitely where you can find them.
Yep.
We're super excited about it. So thank you for being here.
Super stoked about it. Yep.
Sweet. Thank you.
Thank you guys.
Be safe.
Oh yeah.
Peace.
No promises.
No promises. That's fair. Fair answer.
Fire.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. Don't forget to go to stillcitymusicshowcase.com and get your tickets now.